In progress.
What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday, and welcome to the final edition of Profits at Noon this week. It's great to see all of you, Dean and Hal, back again today. Welcome, sirs. Mohammed, great to see you as well.
Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday.
Hi, Hal.
Hey, Hal.
Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a nice 4th. We're going to get started in just a minute here, guys and gals, as is customary. Opening up the room just a minute early. Actually, I should say directly on time. We are now a minute after the hour. Giving everyone a chance to trickle in, find that great seat. Quick shout out to everyone joining us on the simulcast over on YouTube. If you'd like to join us in Zoom for future sessions, check the description beneath this video. You'll have a link where you can register, sign up, get the reminders and first access here in the VIP section. Awesome. Well, as is often the case, Thursday seems to be the busier day for our crew of regulars. I know a lot of guys and gals catch up on the replay, so we're not going to hang back too long here in the beginning of the session. We're going to go ahead and start firing things up. So if you're late today or if you're not able to make it, it's no problem. We understand. We'll have this replay ready for you. So welcome, everyone. I think everyone that's with us here in Zoom has been to quite a few sessions. If you're over on YouTube, you're new, just a very quick description. This is Ninjacators weekly live event. We are live 3 days a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, all at noon Eastern time, and we are here to show you the levels that we are stalking for entry. So in addition to all the cool live analysis that Richard is about to share, he's also going to show you what we call our levels to lock. So these are key. You want to pay attention to these. A lot of the analysis, this is how we track a lot of it, and also, of course, as we go into these follow-up sessions, which we encourage you to join, we're able to see all of this play out in real time together. So it's a very cool, unique situation that we have here, and we're very glad to have all of you back with us today. So without much further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get this thing fired up. Let's bring in Mr. Richard Krugel. Sir, would you step in, take the reins, and lead us in today's analysis, please?
Awesome. Thank you, Nate, and thanks for everyone for attending today. We've had pretty strong sell-offs across the board. All the markets we're actually following. We're going to be having a look at that and potentially where things might be heading. Potentially also look at what might be causing this. So before we do get there, just a quick reminder that all information in today's session is provided for educational purposes only, and it's not an offer or recommendation to trade futures, stocks, options, or Forex. Okay, let me just get rid of that screen quick, and let's first bring up today's economic calendar. All right, so earlier on, we had unemployment claims that came out. It was sort of in line with the forecast. Sorry, I'm just going to disappear off screen there for a while. And the big one was the ADP non-farm employment change figures, which beat the forecast by a mile. Now, like I said previously, these days, good news is sort of bad news, especially last year with the whole inflation thing and the Fed that's been raising interest rates, et cetera, et cetera. They obviously did take a pause last month. And then the minutes yesterday revealed that they're up for, hiking again later this year. Well, maybe up to 3 times or something like that, depending on who you actually believe in the news channels. But this is sort of things we knew already, right? So obviously the market didn't like that, investors didn't like that, probably fearful of what a next rate hike might look like. Will it be, sort of in line with expectations or much higher than expected? So market's been selling off across the board. We'll be looking at that right now. So again, they've also been saying from the Fed side that they want to start seeing a slowdown in, the economy. And the job markets have been extremely resilient for a very long time. I mean, adding 97,000 jobs compared to the forecast, or even beating the previous one from last month, is quite a hectic number. So, we've had a sell-off today. We're going to look at the charts just now. And this is the ADP non-farm employment change. It's actually the one that leads into tomorrow's big one, which is the non-farm employment change. Now, there's been some times where you see a little bit of discrepancy between these actual figures. If you look at the actual non-farm employment change figures since the beginning of this year, they've all been pretty strong, right? All printing green. Now, if you look at today's figures, there's sometimes a little bit of discrepancy or difference between the two. Again, this is just like an early look into what potentially could come out tomorrow. You see, we had a few red prints over here where we're less than forecasted. So it's with the market already coming down this hard, if we're going to see a pretty big boost here above the actual forecasted number on the non-farm employment change figures, then we could potentially see a much deeper decline in the market. So, sorry, I got gold loaded there. Let's quickly have a look at the ES. A pretty strong sell-off, right? So the ES, if I'm not wrong, was the only one that actually printed a new high after these rallies that we've seen. The YM didn't make a new high, came very close. The NASDAQ didn't, the Russell didn't, came very close, but the ES did. Obviously different markets, we've got to treat them a little bit different. Price structure will also be a bit different, but yeah, we've had a very strong sell-off. You know, this begs the question, is this all just still part of a correction? And I'm still thinking it is. Bigger picture still bullish on all of these indices, but one has now to assume that potentially what's happening here is not over yet. Maybe this correction that we've been waiting for since I marked this as a third high could still be potentially doing this, where we could still potentially see a break of these previous lows have set towards the end of last month. Then we get another move back to the upside, right? So that could potentially be it. Or on the ES, this has happened already, giving us that third wave. And now we're going to get much deeper for a fourth, and then later go up for a fifth. So that's also a possibility. Again, we'll be watching these market movements really closely from our side. But in any case, what I'm thinking here is that the only sort of, if this is correct, the pattern that typically fits with this price behavior where you just see a pip of a previous high, or like in the case of the NQ or the YM, price comes extremely close to a new high, and then you see a sell-off, could potentially be an expanded flat. We have, like, let's say an ABC. I don't know if you can count this as an ABC, but let's say it was. And now you're starting to see some sort of a 5-wave decline, and then you see another move back to the upside. So looks pretty bearish on the short term. Again, we'll have to see what's going to print tomorrow at that ADP non-farm payroll figures. Are they going to come in way more than expected? We might see a continuation to the downside. Right, previously, remember I drew this little parallel trend line to one of my median lines. I projected from this previous area we had an underthrow, support came in. So now I just basically extended that a little bit. Price hasn't reached that yet, so it might still do that. And then we see a move back to the upside, but we see a break below this line with some decent momentum, then I think price will potentially take out these lows. And then that idea of that this is an expanding flat might be the one to go with, all right? But still being bullish in the long run. So could still see some more downside over the near term. So again, let's see how things plan out tomorrow. Don't be caught up unaware if you are trading. So be careful, be aware of when those figures come out. I think it's at, what is it, 8:30 EST. So yeah, let's just keep that in mind and just be careful with this sort of fear that's printed here today with the strong sell-offs across the board, that might continue tomorrow. You know, anything could happen. Tomorrow's figures might be in line. You know, the discrepancy between today's and tomorrow's, that's something I've seen before, and we could see another move back up again. So yeah, if the ES were to move higher here, it almost reached today's projected range low at 4,416. Currently trying to stay above today's S3 at 4,427. If it does move higher from here, be wary that if it does reach this median line over here, that it might act as resistance again, and then we might see another decline. I'm saying might, obviously anything might change, but the way things are looking now, it does look like price might be gunning for these lows of set towards the end of June. Might be wrong, but yeah, let's see. Just let's keep an eye on what's happening tomorrow. And again, we won't obviously be on tomorrow with a profit and noon session. So we'll have to just recap things again on Monday for you guys. Same thing with the NASDAQ. We've had this parallel line that I've run, again, just parallel to one of my median lines that I've had on my chart for ages. We had a previous area where there was an overthrow around here towards the end of June, and price moved up, bounced against that line, couldn't get through it. And it's also recently just reached it, and a strong sell-off down to the downside again. Now, price has now reached this median line, sloping to the upside, trying to find support there. There's sort of an S2 there. We can say a little bit of a confluence area around 15,170 and a quarter plus minus. So yeah, also a very strong sell-off, right? So the one thing here is that this could potentially be counted as a 5-wave move, if you will. But the thing is, if you would expect a 5-wave move after a correction to break a previous high, if that makes sense, not see this strong decline, right? It could potentially be that I'm just reading everything wrong, that we had a 1 of the next wave up. This is some sort of a 2, and then we're going to still build up to the upside. So yeah, a bit scary, see this very strong decline, but you know, these days you can see very strong declines. There's examples all over the place in all of these markets. We have one hell of a decline, things halt, and you just get a V-shaped bottom and price shoots back to the upside again. So should price close below this area, and maybe even this line running parallel to this area where it undershot with some decent momentum, then I would say price is probably gunning for this median line over here and potentially take out these lows that were set at the end of June. Again, my expectation is that if the ADP farm payroll numbers tomorrow, or the NFP numbers like they used to be called, come out way better than expected, that we might see a strong decline, a continuation to the downside. But still, in the bigger picture, potentially this could all just be a correction still. All right, so it might be year 2 that we've seen an expanded, or still busy with an expanded flat, this potentially being an A, a B, a C, and maybe this was a double zigzag, A, B, C, X, A, B, C, and now you're busy with that 5-wave decline and a C wave. So this could potentially be an A. Again, potentially, guys, I'm just trying to stay a step ahead of what is happening. And also, again, things can change at any time. So that being an A, that being a B, and potentially then, oops, sorry about that. Let's get my screen back up there. A C wave. Come on. I don't know why it doesn't want to write that down. Just bear with me. Something like this that could potentially take out these lows. Same thing on the years that we just discussed. All right. Well, alternatively, I'm completely wrong. This was the first sequence higher. This is just corrective, and we're going to see another pump up back to the upside. Again, keep an eye on tomorrow's NFP numbers. The Dow sunk like a ship. Very strong decline. I wouldn't really call this on the Dow a possibility of even being a expanded flat, because if this was a B wave, it didn't really get close enough for me to this previous high. With an expanded flat, you would quite often expect, let's say this was an A in your B wave, in a bullish case this is, to come either close to it or just pip it, and then you see a very strong decline. So if this is a correction, then we're potentially seeing this, an A, a B, just a single zigzag, right? That could potentially still move lower. Again, I'm going to continuously saying potentially, because anything can happen. Tomorrow's number is potentially going to be a volatile one. So, I mean, even if you go to this area where price previously undershot it, price just reached that now again. Already blasted through today's projected ranges, especially the deviation side of things, 34,039. So a very, very strong decline here, especially on the Dow. It does look like it's gunning for these previous lows. So yeah, let's keep an eye on things. And again, we'll recap things on Monday, during Monday session. Russell, since yesterday also, couldn't find support at this little underthrow that there was previously, and also sort of a bit of a meltdown. came extremely close to these previous lows. It was sort of set towards, when was this, the 24th or 25th? 26th of June. No, it's not. Was it? Yeah, on the 26th. So a very strong decline here. Same thing. Price busted through the projected ranges. It just sort of reached an underthrown S3, which was at 1841. And let's see if price can stay above the center median line. This might act as support. And again, we'll just have to keep an eye on the Russell. Here too, price came very close to these previous highs. So this might all just be an A, B incomplete C wave. So yeah, similar situation than the other indices, right? Now, one thing I didn't expect was this one hell of a decline here in gold. Yesterday, we were like talking about how price beautifully broke above this, what I thought was and could still be an ending diagonal. Price broke above it. I think it was towards, when was it? Last week. Retested it. This upper trend line sloping to the downside and another strong move back up again. So now a very strong decline. I was watching price action actually earlier today when price was actually moving up here. And I was like, yeah, we're probably going to see new moves to the upside. And then those figures came out and one hell of a strong decline to the downside again. So price hasn't just yet taken out these lows. So it could be, remember my expectation is that I'm still waiting for a deeper correction, something like that. All right. So was this the end of it? This could potentially be a very volatile ABC that we've seen here. And that's it. And then we see another move back up. But then again, who knows? Very strong decline, very volatile. Price already reaching S2, busted through today's projected low deviation. So yeah, price found beautifully supported S2 at 1908.4 thus far. So if this is going to hold, and let's say this was the end of a correction, I would like to see price make it above today's pivot point, either today or tomorrow, around the 1929, 1930 level to, you know, have a bit more high confidence that a correction's actually ended and that we might see another leg upwards. So yeah, volatile times. Again, gold will potentially be affected. I think not potentially, probably most likely. Because, you know, the Fed's going to look at these things to judge whether they should raise the interest rates again. So gold will most likely be affected. So yeah, keep an eye on all of these markets we're covering if you do trade them, and just make sure that you, I can't tell you what to do, but just be sure that when that numbers do come out, to expect volatility. All right. Crude oil. Still thinking we're dealing with some sort of a triangle formation. Now, yesterday price came extremely close to breaking this high. I'm still thinking in the bigger picture that this whole thing here is an A, a B, potentially C that's still underway, although we had a very strong decline in crude oil as well. We might still be seeing price move higher. I was thinking, and price came very close to that. I was thinking price could break this previous high around here at 72.67 level to give us that C wave, then another decline again, then another one up, and then another one to the downside. So expecting more sideways, very large ranging sort of price moves in crude oil for the foreseeable, I don't know, can't really put a timestamp on it, but for the near foreseeable future. So yeah, still dealing with that assumption that we might be dealing with a descending triangle. We could have a bearish outcome to it. All right. So again, too early to tell. You don't really know that you're dealing with a triangle unless you know, expect a C wave, thinking that it might be, get a decline, expect a D wave that doesn't break a previous area that you think it's a B wave. So it's all about thinking and assumptions over here. And if it doesn't happen, you ain't going to move up, then only then you're dealing with a high probability triangle, in my opinion. So still lots of work to do, still lots of time left here. Also, crude oil being incredibly volatile. So yeah, I don't know. Just keep an eye out on things. Expect more sideways movements. I am expecting more sideways movement here in crude oil. So yeah, that's really it from the analysis side, guys. Not really too much from the analysis side I've changed, other than these strong sell-offs, right? Still bullish in the big term on the indices, but it's all about seeing how things pan out tomorrow. Are we going to see another strong decline like this, or are we going to see another pump to the upside? So again, we'll recap things, have a bit more price structure with more time that's passed by to look at by the end of tomorrow, and then we'll recap things and see where price is at and see if we need to change our projections on Monday. All right, you guys got any questions? Please let me know. Mohammed, yes, all markets are on a downtrend. Depends on which time frame you're looking at, Mohammed. Obviously, very strong downtrend. It could be on a downtrend on a 15-minute chart. Could be a downtrend on a 1-minute chart. I'm looking at the bigger picture. So the idea here with our levels to lock and the bigger picture is to try to also give you some sort of, a projection of where we are within sequence of things. And we've done pretty well, I would say, since we started the Profit at Noon sessions. So whenever you get very strong moves like this, you could argue this was a downtrend. But again, it depends on what time frame you're looking at. All right. So looking at the sequences here, we're still in a bull market. That's for sure, especially on the indices. It's questionable whether the gold's going to start a new move up. It's been moving pretty strongly to the downside, and we start calling a bear market when price broke around this instance around mid-May. Then I was saying, yeah, we could be dealing with the downtrend. But if that didn't happen, we had another move up, price stayed within confines of this channel, I would have stayed bullish on gold. So it's all about looking at the bigger picture as well. And obviously, like you said, if you say downtrend, it really depends on what time frame you're talking.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, as always, Richard, for the in-depth analysis and the insights. And to those here with us, if you have any other questions for Richard, you want to pick his brain about anything we've seen or he's shared here today, don't hesitate to fire away there in the chat. We are more than happy to hang out, chat with all of you, and cover off anything that's on your mind. We will, of course, before we leave here today, just give you a little bit of a sneak peek on what we're working on next week. And then, of course, we're very excited to be rolling out our agenda for you next week. And just a little hint, there will be more Craig Hill in our future, which we're all very excited for.
Excellent. Yeah, we had a little chat with him just before today's session. So it seems that he's up for joining us a little bit more, having a few more interactive sessions between his analysis, my analysis, and whenever he wants to do the robot lab thing, So we might have him on a weekly basis. So really looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot
as
of
well
fun.
as the agenda, guys. So Nathan showed me a really nice screenshot of what he's been working at so we'll probably be making that available pretty soon, sending that out on a Monday for you guys. So, you can plan your calendars if you look forward to one of the sessions more than the others, go and attend that one. We obviously want you to attend all of them, but, it just gives you a better sort of idea of what to expect for the week ahead from our side.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. And, align everybody's expectations. We all know what's going on in the month. We're going to really work to have an update at the beginning of each month and at the middle of the month. So everybody's on the same page. And then, of course, in addition to all we're figuring out is the best way to deliver that to you guys that are registered here in these Zoom sessions. But, of course, we'll also share it at the top of each of our sessions as well, just so we all have a finger on the pulse. And, yeah, we'll just make that available to everybody. So we're excited about that.
Thanks, Jackie. It's our cat that's been a little bit sick. We took it to the vet last night. Apparently, it's just some infection in the throat or something, so that should be better soon, hopefully. She's pretty old. Now they deal with things these days when they're very old, so
Sure.
It seems to be okay. Touch wood thus far. But
Good.
Thanks for that.
That's good news. Yes, thank you, Jackie. And, Richard, that's something I meant to ask you this morning and got sidetracked. I'm glad that Jackie brought that up.
No worries,
So
no
that's
worries.
good to know. Got 3 cats here, and I know how it is, You worry about them.
They rule.
They run the show, the roost, yeah. Excellent. Well, it doesn't look like we have any questions coming through just yet here in Zoom or over on YouTube. We will give you guys and gals just another minute or two here. If there's anything on your mind, as I always mention too, if you happen to think of anything outside of one of these sessions or you're viewing a replay over on YouTube, if you have any questions at any point, you can always head over to our website. There's a contact form, support@ninjacators.com, and also a phone number plastered all over. So no shortage of ways to get in touch, and we'll always make sure that we are available to you, whether we're here live with you or elsewhere. And then, of course, just mentioning, too, all of these replays are cataloged over on the YouTube channel and a special Profits at Noon playlist. So it's a really cool opportunity. You can kind of skim prior sessions just to see some of this analysis playing out. It's excellent stuff. So very cool. When do these recordings get posted after we finished? Fred, I'm glad you asked. This will post to YouTube as soon as we conclude this live broadcast. So you could theoretically head over to YouTube and see it happening live now, but as soon as we hit the end stream button, it will automatically populate in that Profits at Noon playlist. So you can just click into the Profits at Noon playlist. The most recent event will be there. And then, as I mentioned, you'll see a whole list of all the prior events. So if for any reason you ever need to revisit something, or as I mentioned, if you just kind of want to skim to see how some of this analysis has played out, we encourage you to do so because as Richard mentioned here, just taking a look back historically since we've started these sessions, things have been pretty spot on. As not to say that anything is guaranteed or a given in the markets, but doing the best we can to keep our finger on the pulse. I think we've done a great job thus far, and by we I mean you, Richard.
Oh no, you too as well. Thank you.
Well, I do have a dad joke on deck. If we take that threat lightly, a threat or a promise, depending on your viewpoint.
Can't wait.
If you're new to these sessions, just something we like to do to break it up a little bit, a little fun on the way out the door. We share a terrible pun or a terrible dad joke. So this one, Richard, struck me this morning as being particularly bad, and it's going to require a little voice acting on my part in the answer. So coming your way in the chat, everybody, here is today's dad joke of the day before we head out the door. What do you get if you cross an angry sheep with a moody cow? Yeah, that's a front-loaded question. It's just qualified to be terrible.
Oh, dear.
What do you get if you cross an angry sheep with a moody cow? Okay, answer coming your way in the chat again. It's going to require a little voice acting. An animal that's in a bad mood. Yeah.
That is terrible, man.
Yeah, it's probably a good thing, actually.
She always likes your dad jokes.
Well, I forgot to turn my camera back on, but it's probably for the best. So that I don't have to take direct ownership for that. But you heard it here first. When you cross an angry sheep with a moody cow, you get an animal that's in a bad mood. And the frog was better, Jackie. Yes, the frog from yesterday was one of my favorite reasons. When Craig showed up with that baseball field background, I just knew. Excellent. Well, I'm glad some of you enjoyed it, some of you hated it, and that's exactly what a dad joke is supposed to do. So thank you guys for tolerating that. And of course, thank you everyone for joining us throughout the week on Monday, Wednesday. Obviously, Tuesday we had that holiday, but Thursday this week, it was great to see all of you here. The triumphant return of Jackie to these sessions. It's been great having you back. Adila, Dean, Eugene, Fred, Hal, Jackie, Jim, Mohammed, everyone that stuck with us to the end here today in Zoom. Thank you guys so much, you guys and gals. And over on YouTube, just another quick shout out to you. We'd love to have you in Zoom if you want to join for future sessions. Check that description beneath the video and you can go ahead and get registered. But of course, we will be back on Monday as mentioned. We'll have a brand new tool spotlight in the works for you. So lots of exciting stuff as of course the agenda that we mentioned as well. And then more Craig Hill coming your way next week too. So lots to look forward to. But in the meantime, everybody have a great rest of your weekend. Get some rest, relax, have some fun, and we'll be back on it Monday to align everybody for the week, get those new levels to lock. Oh, thanks, Adela. No, we appreciate that. We love having you here too. So awesome. We hope to see you again Monday.
From my side, great. Have a great weekend. Rest of your Friday, obviously, or rest of your day, wherever you're in the world. So yeah, I'll be back again on Monday and behave, and we'll see you then. Cheers.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you again soon. Bye bye.
Bye bye.